Hey everybody, welcome to Joey's weekly walkthrough. We are in the upper avenues. We're on 13th Avenue to be accurate. We're super excited about this listing. It's a mid-century modern gem, which is why I have our mid-century aficionado, Ken, here with us. We're gonna take you through this house. Now, I do wish this house was still available, but we did what we do and we got multiple offers. We got above list price. I don't wanna be all braggy and weird, but it's facts. So, we're gonna check this place out. Ken's gonna tell us all the cool little nuances with mid-century modern. I'm gonna be a guy that's also there. So let's go check it out.
Okay, so before we even go in, what was so exciting to me when I drove up to this house is that one of the things that happens with mid-century is that you don't break the plane of each side wall, front wall. You're trying to keep them without horizontal breaks. So it's kind of hard to explain, but this whole front panel is glass. It's not like they built the wall and then they punched the windows through it. They built the sides and then they've constructed this wall of glass in front of it. And that's kind of a distinctive thing. And what's actually happening here is that in this mid-century period, people are starting to play with techniques that are typically happening in commercial buildings like storefronts and glass curtain wall offices, and they're bringing them into residential applications. And so that's kind of, it's a change in the way that we think about housing by using these kind of commercial applications. So it's kind of interesting in this house. The other thing that's happening here is, I don't know if you're standing back far enough, but you can see they're playing with these different planes. This flat roof, that flat roof, you can see another flat roof peeking up behind it. And so we're really just playing with composition. It's as if they've decided none of the old rules apply. We're not looking for gable roofs. We're not looking for dental molding. We're not looking for arched windows. None of the symbols that happen in architecture that we think of as home, and like if a child were to draw a house, none of that is going to apply during this mid-century period. We're just starting from scratch. What could we do if we were just playing? And so there's a lot of that going on here that is actually really exciting. That's what I got so excited about.
That's exactly how I would have said it too.
Yeah.
Let's go.
So when I walked up to this house, I realized that at some point, owners of this house lost their way and they forgot what this was about. So I went to Home Depot and picked up a door that's like fake leaded glass and brass, and it's of a totally different era. This door has nothing to do with what this house is. So as I walk into this door, I know we don't quite understand what this house is about.
Big difference maker that light just made when I turned it on.
Okay, was that too negative?
No, there'll be some. Look, everybody with a cool house made a mistake with a remodel in the 90s. Like that just happened. That happened in here as well. So real quick, before Ken gives you any more knowledge on mid-century modern juice, check out these views. Like, are you kidding me? Unobstructed, they'll never change. We've got a line on a couple more houses. Now, this one is gone, but we've got a line on a couple more houses with a similar view. So if you're interested in this view, hit us up. Ken, tell us about this epic.
Okay.
This room is bananas.
This room is bananas. Here's what's so amazing. So they've left this fireplace intact, and this fireplace is a compositional masterpiece. They're really playing with two things here. They're playing with this large format terrazzo and creating this strong horizontal down here. And then as if this weight has just fallen upon it, there's this stone monolith. It's almost religious, is like an obelisk or something you would pray to. It's just incredibly powerful and strong.
The guy likes mid-century modern, man. I love that it's like, this is like the outside and this would be what it would feel like on the inside, right? It's like these.
Oh, I love that.
Cool.
So there's this reverse, this being polished and this being rough. In England, they have a thing they call pebble dash, which is like little stones set in cement. This is like large scale pebble dash for anyone who's spent any time in England. There's something so unusual about it that they've managed to make it flush and flat. And so they've somehow, you being a bricklayer, I don't know how they chose all these stones so that it has this flat front, and it's not bumpy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, but the composition, I think, here is what's really important. And it's something that's kind of carried out throughout this house where they're creating these strong horizontals and just going for it, just leaning into it. It doesn't need artwork above it. It doesn't need anything because it's just a thing all to itself. Okay, the other thing that I really love about here is that we are 5 steps down from the family room kitchen area. And so we've got this ceiling that's about 12 feet tall, and it just brings in so much light.
10 feet tall. Because I can dunk,
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, impressive.
You're welcome.
Can you measure 8 feet in the same way?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm 6'5", so let's see.
Okay. Okay, the other thing that I love is if we stand over here, we're going to see that from the outside, we saw that window spans edge to edge and top to bottom in this room. And so if you turn around, you'll see what that feels like in here. It's like there's not even a front wall to the room. It just goes out onto the street.
Cool.
And because of the way that this one is built, it's built on a lot here in the avenues that will never be built on across the street. So you'll never have to worry about closing your blinds, except maybe from the sun if it's too bright in here. But you have no privacy issues, and you have this whole floor-to-ceiling glass wall. Okay, the other thing that I think is very interesting is I would love to know what happened here, what this was before the 80s came with their contoured edge flat panel thing that is not cool. So I wonder, was this a railing? Was it a knee wall, half wall? Was it, I don't know, or was it other cabinetry that they just updated in this really unfortunate way? But there's so much cool that could happen here. I see this a lot where the railings in mid-century houses were very, very simple. And a lot of times you'll go into a house and they will have put like spindles in a mid-century house and it with an oak banister and it, it's really hard. And so I think it would be so interesting to do kind of a decorative sort of thin metal railing. There's lots of product on the market of that right now that could just make this amazing, because then you could see into this dining room.
I have a crazy question for you on this level. Now, of course, like we said, some mid-90s mistakes were made in here. But this was just how it was from when it was built.
Oh, yeah.
This is what? 7? I am 6 foot tall, so 7 and change.
That's 7. I know I can hit 7.
Look how huge and awesome Ken and I look.
Yeah, I've never felt so tall.
Look at us. Yeah, talk to me about this. Okay. Like, was this a thing?
This was a thing. Okay, what they're doing here is they're playing with the scale and the volume. So big open space and then the more intimate space in here. And they're really thinking about, this is the heart of the home. We want to make this cozy. We want to make this kind of a gathering place that looks out over this valley. But this is something different. This is cozy and gathering and warm. To us, it feels maybe a little claustrophobic, but that's the kind of philosophical concept behind it. And I think it's very interesting. I would love to know what this was before it became what it is, because was it the terrazzo from the other side? Was it the stone from the other side? Who knows what it was?
Yeah. I do know. So when we were doing our premiere party, the people who owned the home before our current sellers came in. One of the gals was born in this home. Oh, wow. And they said that there was a wall that was like right here, I assume. And went this way. So there's almost like a hallway here. You walked into a very compartmentalized kitchen here, and then I assume dining and a little nook. Hangout space.
Yeah.
Here. So.
Yeah, that's interesting. It is nice that they opened this all up into one big room.
That's now that you say what type of application there was on this fireplace.
It would have been amazing. There's no doubt that it would have been beautiful. So what's kind of interesting here is this is again where at some point someone lost their way and didn't understand the spirit and the intent of this house. Now I have all kinds of hangups about I want a remodel to make sense with the architecture, because the architecture is permanent. And if you do a very modern update in a traditional house, your house will never change. It will always be traditional, but your modern update is going to date itself, and it's going to suddenly, it might look really fresh right now, but it has no grounding in the architectural basis of the house. So I'm always really nervous about that. So somebody didn't understand. They thought they were in old Mexico or in France. I don't know what they thought here with those Mexican tiles and stuff. They just fundamentally misunderstood what the house is.
What Ken's trying to say is, please consult us before you make any bad decisions. And yeah, talk to us. Talk to a designer. Is it all right? Now, do you have anything else you want to share on this level?
Well, just that I think it is lovely that they've opened it all up, because we didn't live this way in 1972 when this house was built.
Right.
So it is nice that it's been opened and it creates this kind of big environment, but very simply, this could be resolved with flat panel cabinetry, updated countertops. Like, there's nothing structural that needs to change here to make this a totally functioning room.
Yeah.
It's just these surfaces and materials. That's all. And then it could be gorgeous. Here's one other thing that I think is kind of interesting, is that they're doing this thing with these paneled walls, and this, I think, is original. I think this was always there.
Yeah, I agree.
And so,
much like that sconce.
but unlike the sconce. But I think it's really cool to see this. I wonder what this original light was. That could have been something really great.
Yeah.
Who knows? Anyway, I love this space. It's really unusual and really beautiful.
Agreed. I want to show you my favorite feature of the home. Follow me.
Oh, these
This
corner
little
windows.
corner window with this bananas view.
Yeah.
Get up in here, Brenner. Oh, I'm not supposed to say your name. I don't want people to know. You're the mystery. Okay, and then real quick, is it okay if we go down all the way down to the lowest level and start our way back up? Because I want Brenner to follow us and fast forward. This is the only home I've ever sold where you have to go upstairs
to go down.
to go downstairs. So follow us.
Okay, here's one other thing that I want to point out. This is the basement windows. We're right below the living room. And so these were the windows that we could see from the street, this little strip of windows that goes edge to edge like they do upstairs. And here's what I think is so interesting. Again, we're not splitting the plane vertically. We're only splitting this plane horizontally, rather than like a band of windows and then a blank wall, splitting this in half vertically. There's something really important that this architect is playing with, these horizontal kind of surfaces and breaks. And it's, once you to get into this architect's head, he was thinking something. He's playing with some ideas, and it's not just random that these windows ended up here. He's composed this wall for a reason. And I think it's really cool. Okay, here, very typical kind of 1970s big stone fireplace. Yeah. And these have become cool again.
Yeah. It's not the lava rock, which I love.
So here's what's kind of amazing. Because this house, at first it's built up the hill, and then the basement kind of climbs down below the hill under the house. Really an unusual kind of setup. So we're down at the very bottom, and then we'll continue to go back up. What we end up here with here.
Oh, is this the railing
you were
talking about?
Yeah. That just feels so misunderstood. I mean, it doesn't whoever put that there didn't understand what this was. But what's interesting here is we have a room that has absolutely no windows. It's in the center of this house. Like, we've got the foundation of the garage over here, so you can have a window, and then there's a room over there. But this is a windowless room. They resolved it by making it kind of a rock climbing wall for very, very short people. But maybe this would be a great kind of TV room or something, because it's dark. I don't know. Here we have, under that corner window with the great view, this is how it carries down into the basement and resolves here. And even this is like a little portal to the world. It's got a great view out that window. So I really like that they're still, okay, He's got plenty of windows in this house, but he's playing with this idea of the corner window and what views you get from this space that's usually kind of ignored, which is the corner of the house. So it's just really fun to see him or her as an architect playing with these kind of ideas.
Okay, we're gonna get out this basement. We'll meet you at the next spot.
Okay, so one thing that I think is kind of interesting, I talked about how this house kind of meanders down the hill. And here from this vantage point, you can see this staircase, this room with no windows, and then another staircase going down. And this is only half of the basement. And this sitting where I'm standing shows how it kind of climbs down the hill, which I think is interesting.
And then turn.
And then we go up again.
Yeah, that's your backyard. So you got to go up to get back down.
So we're really almost 2 floors underground, but it doesn't feel like that because the hill is a hillside, and so you get windows all the way down it as it climbs down 2 floors. Kind of amazing.
Yeah, sweet. Okay, we'll meet you at the next spot.
I don't think there's anything else in here.
Nothing special here. These lights as we go so that...
Oh my gosh, this stand right here too. Okay, so here we are again. Now we're at the top of the house, the very top, and you can see how through this series of staircases and then platforms, it follows the curve of the hillside and flows downward also. This is like a classic sort of dog trot house is what they used to call them, where front to back is a center hallway. It's a very southern kind of thing that we don't really do, but that's what they've created, and I think it's so cool. You can see the front yard from the back door, and you can see the back door from the front door. It's super rare,
cool.
But it's made more interesting because of these varying levels. So super cool.
Let's check out all these windows in the different spaces. So we'll take you to each little space so you can check it out. We'll meet you there.
So here we are in the primary bedroom, and there's something interesting going on here again. Again, we're really reinforcing and leaning into this horizontality idea. And it's picked up by the roof lines that we're seeing. That's the roof line over the living room, family room, kitchen. This is the roof line over the garage. I don't know if you can see that from this, but everything is about vertical or horizontals here. And then it expands out into this edge-to-edge view of the whole city. It's like you don't even need artwork in this room because you've got a framed image right there, and super rare. Like you never see this kind of a thing with that much view. Super cool.
Ken gives us so much mid-century modern street cred. It's ridiculous. Love it. Okay, anything else you want to throw at our lovely audience before we sign off?
I think we're good.
We're gonna do this again because this is rad. I know there's a bunch of you out there that were geeking out just like me. We sold the place and I didn't know half of the stuff that Ken was talking about. Don't tell the sellers. Catch you on the next one. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for coming.